Hi guys. So inevitably, as a pediatrician, I am always met with this topic, especially in newborns, and that is their bowel movements. I walk into my office, I'll go into the room, and the first thing I'm met with is an open diaper, or as I'm eating lunch again, I'm scrolling through questions that parents have. And again, they always give me that open diaper. How does my baby's poop look? And I have to admit, it really is nauseating. So what I'm going to do today, and I can understand the concern, I'm not discounting the concern, but really, we're just gonna break down poop, what it is, especially what to look out for, what your baby's poop should look like, especially as a newborn, all right? So let's get into it. Okay, so first off, breastfeeding infants, especially newborns, this is before really the age of 6 months of age. Their poop should look like this. It should be yellow. There will be little seeds in it, so they look like almost little pepper seeds, like little flakes. But that being said, it's generally yellow. Now, this is going to change if you drink formula. If your baby is drinking formula, it's going to be more brownish and green. And again, I will show you variations of that. But this is how your baby's poop should look. Now, it's probably not going to be as formed. You're going to notice that it's going to be more watery. So it'll look like a nice watery thing with like little yellow seeds on it. But essentially, this is more that color. Maybe a little bit lighter than that, a little bit darker. But either way, this is your reference. Okay? There we go. Normal newborn baby poop. Okay. All right, so now when we talk about formula, because formula is a synthetic substance and it has synthetic things in it, again, guys, your baby's poop may not be yellow and seedy. Now, I have seen in some cases, rare cases, there are babies that have more of a yellow seedy poop with formula, but generally it's gonna be more green or brown or a mixture, okay? So, for your reference, believe me, I'm using only food for a reason. I am doing you guys the service that you cannot do us pediatricians. So this is essentially what it looks like, nice and brown. Okay, there we go. Or sometimes green. And if it is green, again, you may have a little bit brown and green and brown, it's okay, completely normal. If it's a little bit lighter in terms of the brown color, it's a little bit lighter. But either way, guys, normal, normal, normal. Now, I'm going to talk about the things that we don't find to be normal. Okay, so I'll show you that coming right up. All right, so next, the things that we're concerned about are blood in the stool. Now, blood can look like, it's pretty basic, it's straightforward, but it looks like red. Here's the caveat. If your baby is 6 months and up and they're eating red foods like tomatoes, things like that, strawberries, and you see red in the poop, please do not panic. Generally, blood would be from something else. So again, and we can see it sometimes if kids are being fed dairy too early, specifically milk, cream, ice cream, things like that. If it's yogurt or cheese, no. Okay? All right, here we go. This is what it looks like. Again, only using food, only using food. All right, so again, there's some blood in the diaper, you see it, maybe a little bit less than that, maybe, hopefully not a little bit more than that. That's a good amount of blood if you see something like that. And it can be bright red. So again, if you see something like that, let your pediatrician know. Next is mucus. So again, mucus would look not as much like this. I was trying to get it, but it looks almost like a soft soap or like an ivory soap on something. Again, it would be more slimy. It could even be clear, but again, it would be in your child's stool. Now, here's the thing. If your child has a cold where there's nasal congestion, they're coughing, sneezing, and then they have mucus in the stool, it's not that hard to think that, that they're going to have mucus in the stool. It's not an emergency. Why? Because they can't cough up the mucus. So they swallow it, and then it goes down the digestive system and into your baby's poop. So again, if you're noticing like a good amount of mucus in the stool, but your child has nasal congestion where they're really stuffy, they're coughing, or they're swallowing a lot of mucus, and that's not an emergency. Otherwise, let your PCP know, let your doctor know. Either way, if you see mucus, it may not be an emergency, so I don't want you to freak out. Now, if you see blood in the stool, you definitely want to let somebody know as soon as possible. All right, there is one more. Let me just show you. All right. Okay, now the final stool that we're really concerned with uniformly is something that is indicative of a condition that's secondary to an infection. Okay. So this is the Currant jelly stool. I want you guys to take a good look at it. It's a little reddish in color, but it looks like jelly. It's all clumpy. And this is essentially how the stool would look. It wouldn't be like mixed in with any like solid stools, but it is also indicative of a condition that can go on for a number of days. So your child would have extreme abdominal pain. They'd probably have fever. They would just be writhing in pain off and on. So there are other symptoms. It's not like all of a sudden your child would be well and feeding and then they break out into the Currant jelly stool. Now, if you see stool like this, let your doctor know ASAP. Take a pic, send it. And then you have to go to the hospital essentially to get that checked out. Now, it would not be mixed in with like regular poop. It would just be like that as the condition progresses. So it is pretty emergent. Now, I do want to say that once you start feeding your child, like after 6 months of age, things are going to show up in the poop. Meaning, if they eat blueberries, don't be surprised if there are blueberries in the poop. If their poop is red, but they've eaten red things, tomatoes, strawberries, red foods, Jell-O, their stool can be red. So this does make sense. So you kind of want to think about it. For a mucus, again, if your child has nasal congestion, makes sense. There are some antibiotics and medications that can also change the color of the stool, but as long as you're not seeing blood, everything is okay. Again, if you ever have any questions, please send a pic. But for your regular yellow, green, brown, you are good to go. Now you know. Share this with every parent of a newborn, an infant, whomever, who is going to photobomb a pediatrician with regular poop as soon as possible. All right, for more tips and tricks, please go to our website at www.askpeds.com. You can also check us out on YouTube and again, TikTok. All right, guys, take care.